Invictus Rajesh.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. How many of you like poetry? That's great. So let me admit, I used to hate poetry. In fact, I had such a bad impression about poets. I used to think they were pedophiles. You know, they like the churches, and the only reason for their existence was to torture children. They are starry-eyed dreamers. They deal with abstract concepts, and they could tell you how wrong was I. This I realized when I read and internalized a Victorian poet called Invictus. Invictus is a poem written by a gentleman called William Ernest Henley, 1875. The word Invictus, anybody knows what language is it? Latin, yes. And what does it mean? Undefeated? Yeah, unconquerable. It means unconquerable. Yeah. And legend has it that Henley was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and his doctor said that one of his legs will have to be amputated. That's when he wrote this poem. This poem has been quoted several times in history. In the Second World War, Sir Winston Churchill quoted the last two lines of this poem in the House of Commons. Even the Burmese leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, who is a Nobel laureate, has said that this is the poem that has inspired her to keep fighting for the rights of a people. Finally, this poem is also the inspiration behind the Hollywood movie Invictus by Clint Eastwood. Have you seen that? Okay. So it's one of my favorite movies, and if you watch it, you will find like what a movie. Is it possible for a poem to inspire a nation? This is a poem that has inspired a nation. That's what's shown in the movie. It's about Nelson Mandela. After he is released from prison, he becomes the president of the Uniform Republic of South Africa, and how he builds the country. So here's the story. When Nelson Mandela becomes the president, South Africa is in the throes of a civil war. It's the black versus whites. Mandela wants reconciliation between the two communities, and he comes up with this brilliant idea of using rugby as a means of uniting these two communities. So one day he calls the captain of the rugby team, who is a white man called Francois Pinard, and tells him in a subtle manner. He asked him to try to win the World Cup rugby, which was scheduled in the next few months. At that point of time, South African team was doing very badly because of internal strife and low morale. It was very difficult. But Pinard agreed for that. And Mandela also told him to tour the entire country and try to popularize this sport. While they were doing that, Mandela one day went to Pinard and presented this poem. He told him, when I was in prison for 27 years, there were times when I felt like I wanted to give up. I thought it was all over. And then I read this poem, and it gave me the inspiration to keep fighting. That's how I lasted 27 years. That's the power of this poem. When Pinard read this, he was also motivated to try harder for the World Cup. And under his leadership, South Africa won the World Cup rugby that year. His victory was so huge that it united the blacks and the whites, and the moment of tension was gone. The last scene of the movie shows both the blacks and the whites celebrating. Nelson Mandela again thinking about this poem. So it's really wonderful that a poem can play such a good role. What is this poem? You curious. I've been talking about a poem, but you don't know what it is. So here is the way it goes. Out of the night that covers black as a pitch from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have neither winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears lies the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Wonderful, isn't it? Thank you.